I'm here with Bob, and I am Tina, and we are discussing and debating what a totalitarian government is and a limited government. So today we are discussing the differences.
Okay, first, I would like to introduce limited government. Our definition for limited government is a political system where the people have a voice and a choice, unlike a dictatorial country, somewhat like Cuba or Cameroon. And they are allowed to exercise their liberties and is a country bound to principles and actions by constitution.
Whereas a totalitarian government is of or relating to a system of government that is centralized by a dictator and requires a complete subservice to the state, meaning that the people really do not have a choice. The government is over the people, and there is one single ruler. No Congress, no Senate, nothing like that.
So much like your household and working with you.
You're cute. That was very kind of you. I'd like to see what your wife says about your household.
Huh.
I think a totalitarian government is the ideal government because the people can just understand that they're not always right, and the government knows what's best for them.
And see, that is where you're wrong, and that is why your husband has left you for the third time. Because in this government, the people actually have a choice in what they do without the government having to butt in.
What happens whenever they make the wrong choice and there's a civil war?
I do understand that we do repeat history as human beings, but we've always fixed our faults here, okay? And this government system has worked for many, many, many years.
So is our government. We have been ruling our country. Our leader's been in for 18 years in most countries.
And how high is your poverty rate?
I will give you that. Our poverty rate is pretty high. That's just based in countries that are based with agricultural, like Cameroon. Whenever we say, well, you should grow this crop because it sells the best, not necessarily, like, the ground doesn't really like that much.
Okay. That still doesn't answer my question.
Our poverty rate is very high.
Thought so. And how high is America's?
Pretty high as well, wouldn't you say?
Lower than yours, though.
What about job rate? Like, we say what people should do for a living, and we try to make jobs for everybody, but I hear in America that the job placement is pretty low. I mean, what about, like, once you complete college or something?
I mean, our fast food industry is rising, okay?
What about the obesity?
We are trying to fix that, okay? Michelle Obama's great help in our schools, giving it diet soda, cutting our schools' lunches down. Great. Perfect.
I wouldn't say every country is perfect, though.
We are not perfect. I do take that, though. We do have our faults here in our nation, but how big are your faults?
We do have pretty big faults. How would you say that, what's a constitution?
A constitution is something that binds our nation, keeps our government in check and keeps our people from being, how can I put this, overlooked and overruled by those in higher power.
Much like a totalitarian government would do. Whereas most of them do not have a constitution, and if they do have a constitution, it's often been edited, rewrote, multiple years in a row, just depending on the ruler at the time. So I do see that as a fault as well.
But see, with our government, they get checked, and our people get to decide and vote on whether or not that's what they want. In your government, your people don't have a choice. If your government decides to raise taxes, then your people don't have a choice in that. Or if your government decides that no chocolate for people who weigh over 50% of their body weight, your people have no choice or say in that.
I understand that. The people aren't free to choose what they want to do. They don't have the unalienable rights as the people do in the United States. So I think we are on an agreement that limited government is better.
Thank you. I know that I am right, and this is why I'm always right. This is why I'm on this show.
I feel like this is the first debate you've actually won on the show.
It is, though.
We're signing off.
See ya.